Hi folks, welcome to the program All About Cars. My name is Ralph Medeiros. I own and operate Ralph's Auto Center in the north end of New Bedford on Church Street, 867 Church Street, with my son Andrew. There we sell quality used automobiles priced primarily between $4,000 and $15,000. We do sell cars that cost considerably more as well if you're looking for one, and trucks and SUVs and all kinds of vehicles. We also do a lot of auto repairs, all types of repairs, everything but manufacturer's warranty work. You'd have to go back to the dealer, of course, for that. And we do other things as well. We sell a great line of radios and great tires and many other things. And you can look us up on the web at ralphscars.com. Today's a good day to go look for a car. It's a nice, clean, crisp, cool day today. Almost feels like early spring. Really does. Matter of fact, there's some construction workers out in front of the building here working on the soffits and the fascia here. I don't know what they're doing, if they're rehabbing it, giving it a new look or not. So if you hear some pounding and banging, it's the lads outside who are doing the work, because they're right directly in front of the windows here. So we do apologize if you hear any banging. It'll come through the microphones. You can give us a call here, 9960500, 9960500. We can talk about whatever's on your mind. A lot of things happening in cars, in the car world, a lot of things happening in the world in general. It seems like, I don't know, I come here every Saturday and I think of, well, what are we going to talk about? There's all kinds of things happening, and it seems like things seem to be accelerating, and not necessarily in a positive way when you see all the events taking place around us. And it's pause for concern. Sometimes I wonder if we're kind of like the Titanic. You know, we've hit the iceberg and we don't realize that the lower decks are flooding. Anyway, give us a call here, 9960500. And there isn't enough life rafts. What a thought. Well, that's probably not a totally wrong analogy if things really go down the tubes. We've got a caller here. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
How you doing, Ralph?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Just checking in for moral support.
Okay.
Listening to you on the Atwater Kent Model 10 4700 series again.
Wow. That's tube power.
Nice weather, right?
Gorgeous weather. If this is part of global warming, I guess we can't complain, right?
No doubt.
You know? It's just,
all right, Ralph. I'm just checking in for support.
Thank you.
All right.
I gave you a good radio report, I guess, in reverse.
Yeah, 5x9.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we'll take it easy.
We don't mail QSL cards, though.
No, you don't.
Okay.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Ralphie.
Billy.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Your voice sounds good. Sounds like you get some, your batteries are charged, so that's good.
Yeah. How about you?
Can't complain, complain. Yeah, get out there and just fight the good fight. I don't know.
I got your message the other day.
I'm sorry?
I got your message the other day.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm looking, anyone out there, I'm looking for a 1967 GTO. I have a friend of mine in Florida who wants one. His father wants one, actually. And if you have a nice, clean GTO, a nice one, not a snot, he'll pay. The money's not going to be an issue with this fella. But they want something nice, clean, has to be a 1967 standard shift, preferably, GTO, and not to make me a GTO car. It has to be a GTO, okay? Because they have some people.
Hard top, rag top?
Hard top.
Okay.
Hard top, so there's more choice. And it's still a limited car, to say the least, but he'll go with a hard top.
Oh, okay.
So,
I haven't seen many of them around lately.
No, there's a few, but 67, I think, was one of the better-looking years of that line. 69, 68, 69. The 68, they changed the body, and they got kind of fat and, rounded. And
yeah, they're not streamlined.
Right, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Where they changed it.
In my books, when I get my books in my cars, I very seldom see GTOs in there lately. You know, I mean, you might find 70s or something like that, but in the 60s in that area, I don't see many.
Well, that was for the time. It was a hot car in demand. Excuse me, it was in demand, and there wasn't a lot back then. I mean, they were out there, but and they're certainly more affordable because a working guy could afford to buy one. Now these new muscle cars, you're talking north of $75K for the muscle cars we used to buy for around $5,000 back in the 60s.
Right.
So, obviously things have not gotten better for the average fella. And that's the realities that exist out there, okay?
Well,
our economy's been so...
I will call you.
Yeah. Our economy's been so well run. So here we are. That's reality. But, yeah, because, like, if you look at the new Hellcat and the Vets and all that, they're all north of $75,000.
Right.
Matt's hooking up a Hero camera here, so I don't know what's on his mind.
The car.
Yeah. Well, they're still building some of them, the retro, like the Chargers and all that, are still built kind of like on a full, the old-size cars.
Yeah, but what I mean is that most of them are all plastic.
Oh, well,
yeah. Didn't have the car like it used to be before. You used to get all the chrome and all the fancy doodads on them, and side moldings and bumper guards and stuff. You don't get none of that stuff today.
Well, yeah, that's true, Billy. But on the other hand, you get a good set of brakes that can stop you when you have 500 horse under the hood. In the old days, the cars went like hell, but they couldn't stop for nothing. Remember? They didn't stop for nothing. They put these hot engines in these cars, and, they didn't even have disc brakes up front, a lot of them. They had drums, and they couldn't stop for crap. They had real problems in that respect. So cars, in some ways, have improved, in the handling, the braking. Mostly because of liability, I guess, too. When you put such
but the looks suck, okay?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the new cars.
Horrible.
Well, they're all...
I can't tell you anything anymore. Before, you could stand in the corner, Ralph, just by the sound of a Chevrolet coming with a vacuum shift, or the starter with a Chrysler starter. You could tell right up, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Or just looking down the street, it comes up Ford. Today, holy mackerel, what is this coming up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're all white or all silver, so it's tough.
Yeah. Well,
for those guys, I mean, we had the cars we could tell. Today, when I walk in, if you don't, and some of the things are not really good, tell them what make car it is either,
Yeah. Well, there's a few out there that are nice, but you have to spend some serious money. Today, and they're regulating it too. So they don't want you to buy these high-performance cars. They're making them quite expensive. So if a younger person wants to buy a nice car that's hot, and they're very expensive, and then the insurance is against you, and there's the whole system. They want everybody in a little 3-cylinder smart car, or preferably electric car. Luckily, you won't have a car. You'll have a bike. Okay,
a bicycle. I'm glad I got one downstairs, man. If things go bad, I'll take it out.
Yeah, that's what's going to go.
10 speeds in one of them races. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ralph, now come on. You must have some new cars up there. Something that might just turn me on.
Okay.
So let's start.
Okay. Let's see. We brought in a few machines. I don't know if they're on my list here right now, Bill. Got a nice Grand Cherokee Highline Laredo that Andrew brought in 05. That's clean. He has an 08 Grand Cherokee, and then limited, and he brought in another. I think it was a 2011 Grand Cherokee, which is a new style, which is a nice machine as well. So we brought those machines in. We brought some nice Jeeps. That seems to be a good demand.
Going back to Chrysler again, huh?
Yeah. Well, we bring it.
For all these Jeeps,
Yeah. Well. We've always done well with Jeeps. We're a Jeep dealer for many years.
I know, but I'm saying, you got 3 or 4 in a row. I said, he's going back to Chrysler.
Well, when we can find them. Sometimes it's hit or miss.
Yeah, I understand. I've been there, I know.
Yeah, it's hit or miss. It's we see a lot of metal, just you don't want to buy certain.
Of course you don't want to buy some of it.
Right. So a lot of it you don't buy because they're not really that nice of a car. And
you're going to do too much to it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you can make them look good, but that doesn't mean the car's good.
That's right.
Right? So a lot of people get, bamboozled by that. They just look at the looks. Same with the dealers. A lot of them just look at the looks.
What other American vehicles you got up there?
Well, I know you got an 04 Grand Cherokee Limited Edition. That's an 04 in black.
Yeah.
Got a couple of Wranglers in stock, which those are pricey.
What are they going for, Ralphie?
Well, the 2011 Grand...
I come with that's big bucks.
Yeah, well, the 2011 Grand Cherokee, which is the start of the new style. That one is just under 19. $8,000. Got an 05 Lincoln Town Car, which we're getting set up. A silver one. That's going to be priced at, it's a nice ride. If somebody's looking for a nice car, nice ride, priced at just under $7,500. That's a clean car, and we're just getting it in now, and we have to finish cleaning it. It's a real hassle. We had to do some.
Got all the toys?
Yeah, it's pretty much loaded. Had to do a little body work to it, nothing serious to make it a lady. And we had tires, new tires, and it's a nice ride for somebody who doesn't want to spend a lot of money. And you want to buy a car. I mean, you get into a car for $7,500. That today's money is going to cost you $50, $60 to get the same kind of. If you could get the same kind of ride.
Yeah.
That's reality today.
Yeah.
And got an F-250 Lariat crew cab, which is a Ford, and that size, the Lariat, and 4x4, of course. That's priced at just under $11,000, and it's a diesel. So if someone out there looking for, if you're looking for a crew cab, shop body in the back, 4x4 diesel, the better diesel too, priced under $11,000, that might be the vehicle for you to check it out. Have another 2000 Cherokee, Billy, the little square job.
Oh yeah, I don't know how to come by.
Yep, 4-wheel drive. That's priced under $7,000. They're hot. They're hard to find though. Not hard to find. They're not rust buckets.
Right.
They're hard to find that are not rust buckets.
Right.
Got a great little 05, if you're a homeowner or you need a little pick-em-up truck to go around and check your properties or do work on the side. I got a nice little Dakota Laramie Club Cab 4-wheel drive. It's an 05. Only has 87,000 miles, priced at under $12,000. That's a good buy for somebody. I got a 2008 Chrysler Town and Country that just came in. They can move a village. Well, maybe not a village, but a small village, under $7,500. If you're looking for a nice van, vans are tough to find today, Billy.
Yeah, they're going for all SUVs.
They're going for SUVs, right. And the new vans are pricey, out of the reach of a lot of people. So if you're looking for a nice 7-passenger vehicle, good on gas, and you ride up fairly high, and you don't have to pay this humongous gas bills like a SUV is going to take down for you, the V8s and all that. This for
Mercedes up there?
We sold the SUV Mercedes, the one I talked about. That left the area. That was a nice car for under $20,000. Very nice. Nice cars go fast. They, we send them all over the country, all over the world, actually. They have a good selection of Subarus, but I know you're not a big Subaru guy, but an 03 Subaru Forester. Black, 65,000 miles, under $8,500. Got another Outback, an 09 Outback, gray, 87,000 miles, under 12,000 miles. An 07 Subaru Outback, priced at under $9,000. A mint condition GTI Volkswagen 2012, priced at under $18,000. The GTI is a nice car. That's a car you should try out sometime, Bill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a German car, but it's very articulate when you drive it. They do the math. I always say that about the German cars, but Volkswagen, they do the math. They know how to do the math on the cars and build a nice car. They do their homework. That's for sure. Got a Wrangler, an 04 Wrangler with 84,000 miles, very low mileage, priced at under $15,000. Obviously, it's a 4-wheel drive. They're all 4-wheel drives. I haven't built a 2-wheel drive Wrangler. Oh my God, the last ones I remember were in the 60s. In the 60s, they built the Tourist. Remember that?
Yep, the Tourist, right.
The Tourist, the Wrangler, the little, with the pink, white and pink stripes.
Yep.
Used to paint them pink. Man.
Get the woman to come buy them.
Well, those things are crazy money now if you find an original one. You're going to spend over $35,000 for a real one.
Yeah. So no Mercedes cars up there with good mileage. You don't have any.
We've sold all the Mercedes, Billy.
Oh, yeah?
We don't have any. They come as that. That's another one. It's hit or miss. That SUV was the last one. The GL4 was a GL450. It was a.
Yeah, but I don't want them big hogs, gas hogs. You know what I mean?
Well, this is a full-size SUV.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one. And
I'm talking about the regular car Mercedes.
Sedan, like an E-Series or a C or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. No.
No, huh?
No, we haven't brought in an 07 Camry. which is, a rice machine, '07 Toyota Camry LE, 88,000 miles, priced at under 8. An '04 Camry we have. I think the '04 sold, though. That was priced under 5. I think there's a deposit. I'm not sure, but it's got an '06 Toyota Corolla, less than 7, under 7. So we got some value out there. Got a nice little Cavalier. This is a steal. A Cavalier with 42,000 miles, priced at under 4,000. That's a steal. A little gold one. It's a small Chevy. 42,000 miles, priced under $4,000. You don't have to think too hard about that.
No, you don't.
I mean, when you think, hello.
Yeah, right.
If you're looking for something low mileage and low price, I mean, it won't be around long, obviously.
You're right.
The Mustang convertible, it's going to be coming into its time pretty soon. People don't think convertibles right now in January, soon to be February.
Yeah, but you know what hurts that car, Ralphie?
What's that?
Just its banger.
Well,
everyone wants a big V8 job in it, you know?
Yeah, but you know what? Drive that 6-cylinder. You'd be impressed. You really don't need the 8 unless you really want to, be pushed back in the seat. But if you're just driving it around most of the time in that 6-cylinder, it's got some moxie, let me tell you. Now, if you load it up with 3-4 people, okay, you're going to be, carrying them too, so it slows the vehicle down, no question. The V8 will have...
What size engine in this one, Ralph?
The 6?
Yeah.
I think it's a 3.6 or 3.5 in that. I don't know the exact CCs. I know it's over 3 liter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tuned right, Billy. When you drive it, it's not a slug. It really has some moxie to it for a 6-cylinder. Yeah, no, it's a nice machine.
A ragtop.
Ragtop. Yeah, it's a nice car without going. Gas is cheap, but the Mustang is it's silver. They've got red here for some reason on the computer, and which kind of made me hesitate. But it's a silver one, Billy, with a black top.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clean. It's got 64,000 miles, and it's priced under 8. It's an inexpensive little sports car, ragtop. That's good on gas, and it's got performance, and it won't eat at the table with you.
That's automatic or a stick?
Automatic.
Automatic.
Yep.
Okay.
Automatic.
Yeah.
And I think we had a Honda, but I think they went to some military fellow outside of Boston. The Accord. I think Andrew delivered that yesterday. He bought the Honda Accord, which was clean with 39,000 miles, and a young man came down just north of Boston and bought that. So, man, we got a fairly good cross-section of machines to pick from. 04 Silverado truck. I know you're a trucky guy. 1500 extra cab, two-wheel drive. So it's a nice, homeowner's truck, priced at under 9,500 with 75,000 miles. I mean, that's a nice little truck for the buck. And you're not going to be buried in payments. It amazes me sometimes when I see some people pull in. They get themselves into these purchases and leases, and they bury themselves, Billy, for 6 and 7 years at $400, $500, $600 a month. And I mean,
don't make no sense.
Well, I guess if you're doing really well and you got good cash flow and you can take the load, okay. But very often the people who do these things are the ones who shouldn't be doing it. I don't know. I mean, we see them 6 months later. They want to get out of it or something because they're tired of making these heavy payments, and they're buried. And then they find out, the realities of trying to get out of debt. So we cater to people who do their homework and want clean cars serviced out and low payments.
They got to go see what kind of deal they get out of you.
Right. Well, they should shop around. We just ask that we put on the shopping list and come into the city, or right off 140, exit 5, and give us a shot for your business. We work hard to try to attract people from all over the area.
All right, yep.
I mean,
well, I know everybody I talk to has got a good word about you anyway.
Well, we try to be straight with folks and, deliver value. You have to be fair with people today. I mean,
to get business, you have to, Ralph.
Yeah.
Because there's so much flim-flam going out there.
Yeah.
Well, Ralph, listen.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Jeep.
Yep.
When was the first Jeep, and who made the first Jeep?
Wow.
Oh, this is a good one.
Wow. Who made the first Jeep?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think the first Jeep.
Yep. Prototype.
I think the prototype. I think the acronym Jeep means general all-purpose vehicle, if I'm not mistaken. Something,
Correct.
Right? Is that?
Yes.
If I pull it out right?
That's right. Yep.
General all-purpose vehicle.
That's exactly how the military, how we used to do it. Right.
Yep. Yep. And I think they were first commissioned. The government wanted. They put it out to bid.
Yep. Around 1940. 1939, 1940.
Yeah, that's right. Late 39, 40, and of course they kicked the project in high gear when Pearl Harbor hit. But there was a little company that put a design out that was the best design, I guess, against the big guys like Ford, the big guys on the block who were muscling in on all the deals.
Right. Yep.
Which was mostly Ford and GM, but I think Ford came to the party, and it was the. I was going to say the Batman Motor Group, but it was a Batam Motor Group or something to that effect.
Batam reconnaissance car.
Was that? I got it right. I'm going to say.
You got it.
Yeah. All right. I said.
Batam reconnaissance car.
Yeah. They were the guys. The outfit.
I thought I had you here today, boy.
Well, I'm a Jeep guy, but Batam.
Reconnaissance car.
Yeah.
What they call it.
When they got the contract, and then the war, I guess they knew they were going to go to war. They couldn't keep up. They couldn't make them enough of them.
Couldn't keep up.
So they gave Ford the majority of the contract.
Right. A lot of them were Fords. Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of Jeeps today are Fords. Well, the military Jeeps in the war were built by Fords.
Majority of them, correct.
Yeah, because I went to look at one. A lady told me to come, and she wanted a premium dollar for it at the time when I had Jeep, and I was going to put it in the showroom. And she said, I got a Jeep for you. And I said, what? And she told me the money, and her husband had it, and he passed away. And I had to go down to Newport and look at it. And she was asking all the tea in China. I said, well, I'll go look at it. And if it's like you say it is, and it's, everything in mint condition and all this. When I went to look at it, and on the plates, you used to rivet the metal plates of who made it and how to shift it and all that. Those plates they used to rivet.
Yeah, nomenclature plates.
Right?
Right.
And it said, built by the Ford Motor Corporation with their logo. And I said, ma'am, I can't put this in my showroom. I can't. I'm a Chrysler guy, Jeep guy. It's got to be built by, it has to say Willys or Batam on there. And I just can't do this. And it's not, it's a nice Jeep, but it's unfortunately not the one I'm looking for.
Now, that Jeep we're just talking about now, the reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Can you pick that up in your computers? The heck of a funny-looking Jeep when they first started with it.
Yeah, the front grille, right?
Front grille and the lights with big headlights instead of the small one sunk in with the the night light. This had none of that and had a round hood.
But was it?
Fenders.
But that wasn't the ML version, was it? The military? Is that the one that was like?
That's the reconnaissance one they started out with.
Okay.
That was a prototype to start with.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw. You know
what I'm talking about.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
The Russians made a nice one too. I don't know if you've ever seen the Russian answer to our Jeep. Built like Soviet woman.
Like a woman.
Built like Soviet woman. Tough. It no break. It don't break.
Now, you ever hear of a moon car?
The what?
Moon automobile.
Moon?
MOON automobile.
No, I can't say. I just thought of the governor of California,
no.
Jerry.
Do you know where this car was made? By any idea?
The moon car?
Yeah, the moon car.
Wow.
The moon automobile.
This sounds like something out of the 60s, smoking pot or something. No.
No. His name was Joseph Moon.
Joseph Moon, huh?
Yeah, he was the founder of it.
I know Sungung Moon, but not that Joseph Moon.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
How many moons did they build before the final moon set?
Well, the company went to business to get closer to the Depression, and during the Depression couldn't handle it no more.
Oh, yeah, the Depression.
But they were made in St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, huh?
Yep. The moon car.
Oh, yeah.
Made by...
Matt's got it here. It looks not a bad-looking machine.
No. Joseph Moon, founder of the Joseph W. Moon Buggy Corporation.
Yeah, it's the front radiator. It almost looks like a Rolls Royce.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, but what's the emblem on top of the radiator? Can you see that? I don't know, with the radiator,
like
right at the top.
No, it looks like one of those Model A jobs, where just have the pressure up top and the cap on it.
Yeah, I used to have like the indicator for
Right, yeah.
for the level of coolant.
Yep. But you know this car was one of the first ones that a 286 super-inch four-cylinder engine with full lubrication on the overhead camshaft hooked into a four-speed transmission.
It had an overhead cam?
Yeah.
Well, that's way ahead of its time.
And it was a fully pressured lubrication.
Wow. It had overhead
hooked into a
cam.
four-speed transmission.
I'll tell you, Matt has on the screen here, he looked up, it's rather elegant, the details on the machine. This guy, Moon, he's pretty cool. He had, yeah, you got me on that, St. Louis, Moon Motor Corp.
I got you on that one, huh?
Yeah.
Right,
But he's got a crescent moon going through the M, and his front ornament on the hood, on where the radiator is, the radiator cap, is a slice of the moon, like a metal image of the moon. Very, very artistic, very creative.
But the whole front grille radiator shell looks like a Mercedes or a Rolls Royce.
It looks like, I'd say it's more Rolls Royce,
Yeah.
Pretty neat, huh, Matt? Yeah, it's a nice car. Matt likes it. See,
Okay,
Matt.
so good. I got you.
So yeah, you got me on that. Although I wasn't back up. What's this? Go back to the moon where it said the year. One more screen. Go back screen. You had. There you go. What's it say there, Matt, on the top? Moon Motor Car.
Yep.
1905 to 1930.
That was a little before my
That's
time.
what I'm saying. Just before the. Well.
that was your time, Billy. I don't remember that. I don't remember. That was your time.
No, that was before my time, but I figured, you've been stuck in the latest jobs. I'm going to get something on this guy today. I'm going to get it.
That was a little before my time, Billy. Jesus.
All right. I don't care.
They were just starting to fly airplanes, and radio was just starting.
I figure I don't know how far back I have to go, but I'm going to get you.
Yeah, you got me on that one. Yeah. Well, I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen a moon automobile, and I've been to some pretty nice auto shows over the years. And,
That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when a guy or a few guys could get together with a little bit of money and start building cars and put it together.
Yeah.
Now, it would be, I would say, nearly impossible without hundreds of millions, billions.
Too many regulations.
Billions, yeah, because of all the regulations.
Right.
And so the little guy, and when I say little guy, it'd have to be, by our standards, he'd be a pretty big guy. It would take billions of dollars to make it happen.
Years ago, it was...
And you would not do it in these United States. You'd be overregulated, and they just couldn't afford to do it. Although, Elon Musk, is building the Tulsa automobile line, which he's done a fantastic job. But they're not, and they're all electrics. So I guess in some respects, the technology's there, but I don't think you need the tooling as much as you do when you're making engines and things like that. Although that's not to discredit him, he's done a fabulous job. But there's billions invested.
Remember last week I told you I'm going to get you on the moon car?
Yeah.
It went right over your head, so
yeah.
I thought you would have caught and you might have looked something up or something.
No, you got me. You got me in the moon car. Matt's putting it on Facebook.
You got the other one quick, the reconnaissance car. Did you ever pick that up, that Jeep and Jeep, how different it is?
Yeah, it's very different. Today? Yeah, the fenders look real...
around with big headlights.
Yeah, it looks more 30-ish than... Jeep...
Late 30s.
Yeah. It had that 30-ish look in it, but the Army Jeep, you can't say it had a 30-ish look to it. It was just a utility-type vehicle that they built, and they could build cheap. And that was the whole... And they were tough.
Oh, you could beat the hell out of them. They keep going.
Yeah.
I know we have them down, boy. They go with everything, do everything.
Yeah, they built them, and the British soldiers loved them. Was the average working guy in England? That was the first time they had an opportunity to drive an automobile. Was an American Jeep when all the GIs were there. And we shipped all those tens of thousands of trucks and Jeeps, getting ready for the Normandy invasion. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the British working class was their first opportunity to drive a vehicle was an American Jeep. So they had a real fond spot for American Jeeps because only the upper crust had the money to drive a car or hire a chauffeur to drive the car for them. The average person in England could not afford by any means to buy an automobile.
You go to buy one today, looking in the books, they're big bucks.
Oh, yeah.
You can get one today.
Everything's out of whack, Billy.
Yeah.
Everything's out of whack.
Well, Ralphie, I'll let somebody else,
right.
Okay?
Thank you, Billy.
We're 1 for 1.
You got me with a moonshot.
Today.
Yeah.
I'll catch you next week.
All right, you
Bye.
slid one in.
Okay.
See you later. The moon car. Oh, boy. That's a good one. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Hi, Ralph. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Okay, I was going to call you last week, and I didn't. You started the show with some Glenn Miller music last week.
Yes, I did.
Well, I'm going to tell you that I'm an older lady, real older lady,
Yeah.
and that took me back to when I was a young girl at Polk Beach.
Wow.
They had a big gazebo with a great big jukebox, and when you played that, I could still see those people with sand-covered feet dancing in there to Glenn Miller.
Wow.
Absolutely. That took me right back there.
It's fun to think like that sometimes.
That's a long time ago.
See, people ask me, say, "Gee, how do you're into this old music? What got you into it? You're not old enough to remember to be there." I said, "Well, no." I said, "But believe it or not, a lot of the first exposure I had to a lot of these old music scores was cartoons.
You're right,
In the 50s, the cartoons, the background music was that kind of music. I guess they could buy the music cheap,
Sure.
and they'd use it in the background. And I don't know, it was just kind of maybe subliminal kind of training, if you will.
It's great. It was great.
And
but that's not the real reason I called.
well, I'm good. I'm glad you
I had
enjoyed
a
it.
problem with my car this week while I was driving. Of course, I had my car serviced by you.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
I took it in, and I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't take my car anywhere else. You people are so courteous, so honorable that you just treat me with kid gloves. I'm an older lady. I'm driving an older car. And when I was there, they asked me if I needed a ride home.
Wow.
And when my car, and it got ready in good time, I had to leave it, but they fixed it, or you fixed it, whoever.
Yeah.
And when the car was ready, she called and wanted to know if I needed a ride up there.
Huh.
Now, how courteous can you people be? I wouldn't do, and I recommend you to anybody I talk to about a car. I really want to thank you. It's been a real pleasure doing business with you people.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, just for the audience, I didn't promise you dinner.
No.
And a movie.
No, I'm fat enough.
Okay, we didn't bribe
Thank you so much.
Oh, well, I'm only playing.
Bye-bye.
Well, thank you for the call.
Yep.
That's very nice. Yeah, thank you. I didn't mean to put her on the spot like that, but I do appreciate that, and I'm thankful for that. We do try to treat folks right and be fair with them. I mean, no different or no less than we'd want to be treated individually or as a company. People today are working hard, trying to make it happen, and a lot of people are playing by the rules, and it's upsetting when you see what's happening around us and the abuses taking place in our society. It's really upsetting when you see what's happening out there, and I think that's why we have such a weird political environment this time around, this cycle. People are just totally pissed off, and they're disillusioned. I know I am. I'm well, I'm probably a little have a little different perspective than some people, but I just think that we have to change our thoughts as Americans. And it isn't like if people put their anger in Obama or Bush or whoever the person in who happens to be president. And you got to think of the president as being the president of. He's like the president of a corporation of the United States. It's a business, except the business isn't really running for the benefit of a lot of the people out there. Now, I'm not going to get into this, get into this pit of political fighting, but we're really getting off track in our country in many respects. And you look what happened in Oregon where they shot down this guy. Now, no, all the facts haven't come out yet in the land where they're occupying this Federal Reserve, land reserve run by the Bureau of Land Mines and Land Management. And, I mean, go online and look at that video and where they shot this man down. Our government, the FBI and state police. And it didn't look like he had a firearm in his hand. You watch the video, draw your own conclusions. And they took him out. There's a hell of a lot of injustices going on, a lot of innocence. Now, I mean, if you're a criminal, you're doing something wrong, or you're a badass and a cop shoots you, then you deserved it. You reaped your thoughts, okay? and you reap what you sow. But there's a hell of a lot of innocents that are being oppressed by our system, by our government. And I don't know. I just think it's a time for really paying attention and get off the mainstream news, I'll tell you right now. Because if that's all you're listening to, it's kind of like eating at fast foods all the time, at going to a fast food restaurant and eating just, GMO modified foods. Everything's highly processed, so same goes for your body and your brain. Highly processed. And most people, we've dumbed out. We've really, the average American citizen now is dumber or just less informed than someone 40 years ago, 50 years ago. That's a fact. And let's add this to it. Most of them went to college. It's really a perplexing situation. A very good afternoon to you, caller.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
You know what happened? The government got beat on the Arizona thing with the Bundys, so I think this time they wanted to set an example. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Well, I'm not saying what they did was right all the way, but the government, they're I mean, how much more? I mean, the farmers out there have had it with government management of how they've managed the land out there, and they've done a poor job in managing the land. I mean, they look at the river, the Annis River, they contaminated with 3 million gallons of toxic waste. The federal government released. You didn't hear much about that, did you? And are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I was just talking to myself.
No, I was just listening to you.
Oh, okay.
That's not why I called you.
Yeah.
You say you're a Jeep guy, and I believe you because I know you own a Jeep dealership.
Yeah.
But I got my wife's car. It was a 2003 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it's got the I forget the size of it. It's got the V8. It's the one they put in all the Chryslers and everything.
The V4.7. Wait a minute. What year?
4.7, 2003.
4.7.
All right, so it's got the 4.7 in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had problems with it. The heat would only get hot when going down the highway, when the motor's at a higher RPM, and then when you slow it down, it would cool off.
Okay.
So I put a new thermostat in it, which is very easy on them. Just attach the bottom hose there.
Yep.
And I put a new thermostat, a brand new thermostat in it. Changed all the antifreeze while I was at it, of course. And I still got the same problem.
Okay.
Any idea what that is?
Yeah, you could have. So let me ask you this: when you change the temperature, you said you Laredo or Limited?
It's Grand Cherokee Limited.
All right, so you have
Cherokee.
Okay, so you have two temperature controls up front for the passenger and the driver, correct?
Oh, jeez, I don't know. I'm not in the car right now.
Well, you set you set the temperature like you do your thermostat at home. You put it's digitally, correct?
I don't think so. I think I just have a single control.
Is it digital?
No.
It's a red. You turn a knob and it goes from blue to red for temperature.
Yeah.
That's what you have on yours? I know when you ask something, like you do it every time, you don't think about it, but when I'm asking you a point blank, it's hard to recall. Well, okay.
Right.
Okay, well, if it's a limited, it's usually digital, and it's like it's like climate control. You set it like you do your house thermostat. But that aside, you may have a problem with the heater box and the damper doors.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, we can look at that. That gets a little more problematic if that's the case.
Yeah.
To resolve, if you're having a problem with the heat, I'd have to get a little more specific with you, like what heat.
Sure.
When you do feel the heat, is it just coming? In other words, if you set your heat to come out the front vents, does it come out?
Right. Yes, it does.
And is it warm?
It's hot. The higher the RPM of the motor, the hotter it gets. The lower, like if you're driving around town, it's very cool. But if you're on the highway and your RPMs are up, you're getting good heat out of it.
Well, you might need a good coolant flush.
Oh, yeah?
Possibly.
But even though I just changed all the fluid out.
Well, I don't know. How did the fluid look?
It looks good.
You did it?
Yeah, it looks good.
Looks good.
Drained it all out. I replaced it. I put brand new coolant in it,
You did? Okay.
Yes.
So you didn't do a hacker job?
No. No, I did not, sir.
Well, I don't know. Most people, I see so much hack-up work. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm talking by tradespeople.
Thermostats them backwards. I've seen them do that.
Oh, I've seen that. And I'm talking about tradespeople, let alone civilians. You know.
Right.
Well, then you'd have to get into like the heater box, the direction inside, possibly a heater core.
Oh boy.
Well, we have an inexpensive way of treating that if it is the heater core.
Oh, is that right?
We have a proprietary method, which we do it, but I won't tell you how we do it because it's proprietary.
Yeah.
So, but
don't give me the recipe of your best.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's but also it saves because we've had people other shops replace the heater core and people spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And we
that's
found
tough to get at.
That's right, and we found a way to save, I'd say, 80% of them. Short of leaking. Leaking's a different ballgame. Yours isn't leaking. Yours is just a lack of heat. No, it's a lack of heat, not a leak.
And you know the temperature gauge on the dashboard for the engine temperature, it stays exactly at about 190, 195 degrees. It doesn't go down to those digits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it stays right at that same 195 degrees all the time.
Yeah.
Which is what the thermostat is. I think it's 195 degrees.
Well, we'd have to check into the flow and all that, you know.
Yeah, the flow problem must be.
Right. And it can have heater box problems, too. Those Jeeps are known for us. So I don't want to be overly confident telling you one thing for sure, because on those, the heater boxes had some issues. So that's why I'm asking you, is it digital? Is it, I'm trying to...
I understand, Listen, I'm not laying on the doctor's stretcher in front of you. You can't see it. I understand.
Well, I appreciate the call.
Let me just ask you another quick question.
Go ahead, quick.
How about Donald Trump? You think that was a good move for him to miss that debate?
Yeah, I guess he's showing the Fox News Network there are other ways of getting publicity, and he took away from their ratings. It's a power play at that level, and it's and I think people are amused to see this played out. Plus, he did a good cause. He did raise $6 million.
Yes.
And,
well, $1 million of it was his.
$1 million was his. Yeah.
So he raised $5 million. Yeah.
So he puts his money where his mouth is.
Sure did, yeah.
And
I think he took a gamble, and I think it'll pay off for him. I do.
Well, the country's in trouble. Irregardless of what your views are, the country's in trouble. The present game and the way we've been playing it is way out of base. This march to socialism is we're there. Let's put Bernie. I mean, Bernie is a socialist. Well, we already have socialists in power. At all levels. I mean, most Democrats would lean socialist. All right, there's a few blue dogs left, not many.
Yeah.
But and a lot of Republicans at the top are in the same freaking. They're in the same ballpark. They're all in the infield. So I mean, that's reality. Okay.
I mean, this is a socialist country, right up from Social Security, unemployment. And all that, right down to the Zeitarian Theater. I mean, everything's subsidized today. Everything has a hand in the public money,
we're running out of other people's money. Margaret Thatcher said that about socialism in England in the 70s. And in this country, we're out of other people. We're running out of other people's money. And how much more they're going to tax us? I mean...
Well, we have too many people that don't pay taxes. And I'm not just talking about the poor down below. I'm talking about people way at the top.
Oh, yeah, they don't... Well, they write the rules, my friend.
Right.
Okay? Absolutely. Some of the richest people run the Democratic Party. Some of the richest people run the Republican Party. They write the rules, okay?
Yeah, they certainly do.
But you and I are carrying the load, and it's and I'll tell you, I'll get into it. I have to clear these calls. I'll get into it a little later, but I thank you for the call.
All right, Ralph. Take care. Thank you.
Bye. Hi, caller. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, Ralph.
Yes.
Kaplan. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Ralphie. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm looking for an inexpensive 500 Triumph Trophy or 650. I got a helmet. This is my last hurrah. So I trust you.
Don't make it sound so fatalistic, Ralph.
Yeah.
You're scaring me, Ralph. You're scaring me. Triumph 650?
Yeah, and the Triumph Trophy is right, 500.
Why don't you just go all out, man? Go with a Norton Commando 750.
Oh, I had a Norton Commando with the Magneto. You kidding, man? It was an electrical nightmare.
What? Have you ever met... Hey, listen, a British bike is all those British... A British car was a nightmare.
But, boy, I'm comfortable with them, okay?
1 down, 3 up. Gee, I got a nice helmet. I'm ready to go. So anyway, I'm like Billy. I'm falling apart. Man, can you believe this? If you were born between 45 and 65, when we were kids, you're my age. You was that little red syrup. You got hepatitis C, causing cirrhosis. It said call the CDC. I did and said get checked. Yep, I got it. They said they gave this stuff to us unbeknown to our parents. We didn't have a sign at all. Well, I'm falling apart. Wow. I want a nice bike and just kick it. Wow. I would go 120, back off, just like that. I just love it. Go in between the lines, right? Lift it up. I was crazy. Okay, I love my bikes. I had a dozen bikes. 48 Indian Chief, the Matchless, AJS, the BSA. I had a bunch of Hondas. No, I was like a maniac. Okay, so
but you got to keep the faith.
I'm going out with.
No, don't go out. There's listen. My friend of mine, a good friend of mine from Rhode Island, had that, and they pretty much cured them. They have some new antiviral drugs that can do wonders.
Yeah, they said in the last 5 years. So I got to go in Monday on exploratory stuff. But imagine this Asian lady said, "Oh, you big drunk, you got cirrhosis, huh?" Instead of realizing they gave us crap stuff as children in grammar school. Wow. If you were born between 45 and 65, you got it, and you're gonna die. Slow death. Unbelievable. All my organs are turning on me. Okay, so I want to hop on a bike. I mean, this is the truth. I think that's your age. You got that red syrup in school. I know you did. You're my age.
Listen, I don't want to find out then. I'll just go blissfully. I don't want to. You're making me depressed. God, I get depressed looking at the news. Now you're making me depressed. Now, well, they're killing us anyway. I mean, look at the government's.
You make me laugh.
Yeah, they're killing us.
Okay?
You know, nobody wants to talk about the radiation. I
used to buy them at junkyards, $500, fix them up. Right? I lifted up all the parts, second floor apartment on Roberson Street, put my bike together like that, kick it out the forks.
Yeah.
6 coats of lacquer, and then put an ounce in it. Start
Ralph, you better take care. Hey, we're out of time. I gotta let you go. The news is here. Take care.
So
take care.
Keep in touch.
Yeah, I will.
If you find something nice.
All right, I gotta go. The news is here. Thank you. Bye bye.
God bless you.
Yeah, bye bye. Okay, news. Okay, we're back with the second hour of All About Cars. My name is Ralph Medeiros. I own and operate Ralph's Auto Center with my son Andrew in the north end of New Bedford on Church Street, 867 Church Street. We're just off of Route 140. Take exit 5, put you on Church Street. You head south on Church Street, just over a half mile on the right-hand side, right after Regal House, Web Plumbing and Heating, and Dollar General. We're right next door to Dollar General, opposite of New Bedford Vocational's Technical High School's faculty and bus entrance on the Church Street side. Very easy to get to. We're diagonal from Little People's College as well. So there's a few landmarks to find where we're at. You can look us up on the web at ralphscars.com. We specialize in good quality, reasonably priced auto service. We can keep you going. We don't overcharge people. We only do what's necessary and try to do, we do a lot of maintenance, kind of like just to keep you going and keep the car safe, but we try to keep it, we don't just go and replace all kinds of parts and spend all your money to make more money. We do what's necessary and move on. And thank God we're busy enough where we don't have to go out there and, hurt people. So we do a lot of restorative maintenance to keep people's cars running, okay? Because cars are expensive. Maintenance is expensive. And new cars are extremely expensive. So right now the situation in this area and in our country is very difficult, okay, as we work through our problems. Hopefully we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel. Reminds me of Westmoreland in 1967, 68, and we lost the war. Very good afternoon to you, caller. Thank you for holding.
Hi, Ralph. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
Yeah, I met you briefly a couple of weeks ago at the courthouse on the Django Reinhardt man. So I just was listening. I'm more of a guitar guy than a car guy, but there were a couple of car things came up, and I was kind of, first of all, I've got to set your record straight on the 68 GTO, because I owned one.
Did you?
Back in my high school and college days. And
you liked it?
Oh, that thing would pass anything but a gas station,
Yeah.
But it wasn't too good on corners. But a great car. I loved the body style. To me it was a little more modern than the '67.
Right.
And
it was a
it was the headlights that hit with the vacuum tube.
Yep.
And mine came from California. My father bought it for me for $400 in 1977.
Wow.
Because they needed a ring job and a valve job. So Dad did that in the driveway. We didn't have a garage, but he did that after work. After working all day, he'd come home and did the valve and ring job over a couple of days or whatever and got the thing going. But I remember it had factory traction bars, and it had a fan, which again factory where it was like a very thin fan. It had fins on it. They would kind of go. They would have less resistance as the engine went faster.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it was a thermo. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's God, what was the term? It's like a thermocoupling. Had like a silicone impregnated. That fan would, depending on the temperature, on a cold day it would not engage, and on a hot day it would lock in and engage.
Well, it would go, but it had different fins on it, like a vis, like an aluminum fin.
But you could stop it with your hands on a winter day if you dared to.
Yeah.
On a summer day, it would take your hand off.
Like that.
It would take your hand off, yeah.
It had the rubber front end, too, but I'll tell you, it didn't handle too good in snow, and I don't want to go into that story again. That was a sad
Did yours have the 400 or the 389?
It had the 400, a high output.
Right.
It idled at about 30, and it had power brakes that locked up, you know. It was...
That's the first year of 400, I think.
Yeah, it was quite a car. Now, and your other guy called up with the Jeep, and I've had 4 Jeep Cherokees, and they've all got lousy heat. So you said the thing about the box. I guess it's just something, because every one that I've had, I've never had that great a heat out of them, you know. So
well, we fixed the heater boxes. There's his problem. It has to be diagnosed, because it could be either involved in the coolant flow and or the heater boxes inside the
Yeah, I mean, I like the Jeep product. That's why I've got on my 4th one as compared to some of the other brands that I won't mention that I had owned. But overall, it's a good car. Then you had something, too, on the Trump issue.
Yeah.
And then Trump is, he's playing football. Everyone else is playing baseball. They zig, he zags. He's calling the shots. He's totally kind of rewriting the rule book as we go, making it up. And it's very interesting. Whether you like him or not, I think at least he's stirring up the debate, and he's bringing up like taboo issues that none of the two parties would talk about, and you got to bring these issues up. So I think it's good for the country that at least he's running. And like I say, no matter what side you on, that he is stirring up the debate and making it interesting. Who knows? Maybe the final debate will get as many watches as the Super Bowl, which is as a presidential debate for the most powerful country in the world. You would think that it would. It should.
Well, I can tell you this, that the powers to be, and they go way above Obama or Hillary, the people who really run the show.
Just talking the Illuminati?
Well, you can go in that direction if you like, but there's, people who really run the show. Trump, they probably are monitoring all his texts, tapped all his phones, listened to all his conversations, his emails. You better believe it, because he's threatening a lot of people's cheese. Okay?
Yeah, the powers, he's like I say,
he's threatening their cheese. And
anyone who's got a big job, I mean, there's going to be massive change, and no one wants that. Anyone who has power, any power, they want to hang on to it as cost as they can, but it's going to be very interesting. But
well, the jig's almost over, okay? We're reaching a point. It obviously sounds like you're informed, you're paying attention to the news, and you have to get off the mainstream news if you want to really find out, learn more and get more depth, okay, than just an opinion. But you often hear the comment regurgitated, I've seen the future. It's Baltimore, and there's a book out on it now, and I haven't read the book, but I think we're seeing the future now, and it's not Baltimore, it's Canada. Now, people say, Canada, what the hell are you smoking? Canada right now, their dollar is down significantly against ours in particular. Prices in Canada have shot through the roof for food, for fuel. I mean, a container of Tide is $31. A good steak to buy in the market is $31. Cucumbers are $3 a piece. I mean, prices have gone ballistic, and people have gotten poorer very fast, and it's not over yet.
Well, we've got states with bigger economies than Canada, but...
what? Say that? I'm sorry?
I think we have some states with the bigger economies than Canada, like California and Texas.
Well, but...
but I know what you're saying.
But the same rules apply. In other words, they They have all these social programs, high taxation. Now, they're oil-based. Their economy is mineral and oil-based because they're huge with resources, as you're well aware. But
the European model, that's the socialistic model that somebody is trying to push, and we've got to see what happens.
Push. What do you mean?
Have seen so much change, so much of liberties taken away. The younger people don't realize what's happened over the last 40 years or whatever, and I guess we can blame every politician and blame ourselves for voting the same people in many times over and over again.
Over here, it's who's going to pay for the federal observers on fishing boats, right?
Right.
Over in the West, it's over land rights and use and the federal government. And someone just died over it this week.
And we've got a whole generation of people that are just perpetual victims. They won't take responsibility. They're waiting for someone to bail them out. They'll do the minimum, and they learn how to get by on the minimum.
What happens when there's no money left to bail them out? Like we're coming to the end of the road, and like you have cities like Detroit that went bankrupt, and the water problems next door, and
right.
And I've been through Detroit.
It's not a pretty place.
Well, no. And I've spent a lot of time in Baltimore too. So I did business down there a little bit. I used to fly down there to buy cars. So, and I've seen both communities a little deeper than maybe the casual tourist has, and it's everywhere. It's not just those two particular places by any means.
Well, hopefully we're just going to have to bite our lip, keep optimistic, and hopefully things change for the better, Ralph. It's good talking to you.
I thank you for calling. I think there's going to be a lot of pain for the change. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's the trend line we can continue at this level. You know what I mean? Of more debt. You realize Obama's increased the debt. Well, Obama, his administration, they've increased the national debt since Bush, and Bush did not do us any favors at all.
No, we've had 16 years of bad leadership
Absolutely.
in this country. Two presidents in a row that have just been.
You've taken the words.
What they've been doing, but it hasn't helped the country much.
Well, they know what they're doing. And we've had, you hit it right. I've said that. I was commenting this week to somebody. We've had 16 years of poor leadership, and actually, you can go back to Clinton too. Everybody thinks Clinton was a great this and that, and I don't know. I think we're in for a ride. I really do. I think we're in a reset. It's continuing. I've been saying this now for well over a year, and it's well on its way. It's well on its way. I think now.
I'm going to go before they start tapping my phone.
Yeah.
We'll see you around.
Well, you gotta listen. You gotta kind of the people who put the revolution in play in America were just about 3% of the people. You can't lose sight of that.
Right.
And you look at the oppression of rights in our country, and economic rights, and also freedoms. We have freedom in this country, but there's very high walls around our freedom. If you follow what I'm saying. Everything you do, you need a permit, a license.
You got to pay. You don't get freedom for free.
Well, yeah, and that's true. But we've given up so much already, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's
so to get it back is going to be a fight. They're not going to give it back without a fight. Okay, and I don't mean a fight with guns and bullets. Okay, we're not. I'm not advocating that at all. I do advocate the Second Amendment, though. See, it really concerns me when I see, and primarily Democrats coming out want to take our guns. And I look at societies that have had their guns removed. Most of them have been annihilated and turned into slaves or eliminated.
Well, yeah, I mean, the only criminals have the gun. I mean, these bombers and the ones that were in California, I believe, they had pipe bombs. Pipe bombs are illegal. They still had them. The criminals are going to find a way to get what they right. want, and you've got to make sure that the good people have a way to protect themselves.
Just like the drug dealer they just arrested in Mexico. What's his name? That Carlos. Is it Carlos that was recaptured after getting out of prison?
El Chapo.
El Chapo. There you go. They found within I guess when they arrested him, the security guards had a .50 caliber Barrett, an American-made high-powered rifle. One of the rifles that was put into play by Eric Holder, the former Attorney General of these United States, had sent those guns over the border.
Right.
To do to show how odd gun dealers are selling guns south of the border and how they're getting into the wrong hands. Well, it was his organization that bought those guns and sent them over the border. No one talks about that. You haven't heard that in the news, have you?
No, it was us that bought the guns, and then they sent them over.
Yeah, well, no, they're trying to blame that the private sector was doing it. So it's all these false flag type events. I don't know. It just, yeah, you really have to pay attention today. There's so much misinformation, and most people are just too out of it. They're not thinking. People today are just not thinking. All they care about is
Twitter.
keeping their Twitter, ice cream in the. I've said it before. Ice cream in the freezer, beer in the refrigerator, and potato chips in the cabinet. And what's the next sports game on? And they're just out of it. But they know all about their freedoms. They're an American. This is the land of the free and the home of the slave. That's
I'm going to take your advice on the beer right now, Ralph. Yeah,
there you go. See you later.
Bye.
See you later. A friend of mine I was talking to this week stopped by, and I was talking to him, and he was having his car looked at. His name is Thomas Haniga, and he's going to have a book signing. He published a book, a nice book, an amazing book. I've just started to get into it and read it. And he was a professor at UMass Dartmouth. He's retired now, but he's going to have an event on February 4th coming up at UMass Dartmouth, and it's going to be in the library. And he's got a book he published. It's called Surviving Apartheid. Surviving Apartheid, and it's going to be a book signing that's going to take place at 3 o'clock on his book signing, and the program, it starts at 2, where they're going to have Eyes on the Prize, I guess, a review of the movie, and at UMass in the library. So it's, if you want to go out there and check out the book and talk to Thomas Haniga and about his experiences. And he's wrote a really a very detailed book about his experiences in South Africa. Now, as a young feller, I did follow South Africa and apartheid. I was a listener to Radio South Africa for many, many years when it was run by the Afrikaners. And I also listened to other stations that would, refute some of the editorials from the Radio South Africa when it was run by the Afrikaners. So I kind of learned about what was happening down there, probably a little more than most Americans did at the time. I followed with interest when they murdered Steve Biko, and basically the police there captured him and beat the hell out of him, died in prison, and he wasn't, he wasn't fighting as far as he was just basically abused. His human rights were abused. Okay. If you read into Steve Biko, there's a few songs. Let's see, what's his name? Tony Bird did a song on Steve Biko. He was a former South African, a white South African who left South Africa, came to the States, was afraid to return to South Africa because he figured they would, at the very least, beat the hell out of him and throw him in jail or possibly kill him, the Afrikaners. So he never returned, but he was against that type of administration. But if you, I'm going to be going to this book signing here, but it's going to be quite an event. It starts at 2 o'clock on February 4th. That's this Thursday. It's going to be at the UMass Library Grand Reading Room. And I guess they're going to start at 2 with the documentary on Eyes on the Prize. Okay, that begins at 2, and then followed by Mr. Haniga's lecture at 3, and the book signing soon after. So if you have a chance, you should make it a point to go by there and learn about, the fight for keeping human rights. It's not just an issue that's in South Africa. Okay, it's worldwide. I mean, it goes down with the Nazis and what they did with their prison camps, and Stalin with his gulags. Even in this country, okay? There's more of it than you can imagine in this country, okay? Everything's niced over, and, you can go out to the mall, spend money, go to the game, have another hamburger, watch Tim Kardashian. But there's a tremendous amount of human right violations in this country as well. And I think it behooves us as Americans to become far better informed than we've been in the last 30, 40 years, the last 20 years especially. It's, I don't know, it's just like, it's like we're on a Titanic and no one realizes it's sinking, okay? But I've always been concerned with freedoms, financial freedoms, human right freedoms, and in my lifetime I've seen all these restrictions on it, as the burdens of taxation increase on us, it's less economic freedoms we have. And then everything needs a permit. So now you can't do this, you need a permit. Can't do that, you got to get a license. It's always, and you got to go to a board, you got to get a review, you got to have this survey done. And it's just restrictions. And you look now, and you look at the country, and I'm not advocating to turn the skies black because we're not going to put any pollution control, or we're going to, contaminate the air. No, I'm not an advocate of that. But I just think that there's so much control now has gone to governments and non-government entities that it's stagnated in our country. And now we have so many people who don't have a clue, and are economic and just dummies. They don't have a clue about what's going on around them or in their country. I'll take these calls. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi. I wanted to say something about a lot of the people, especially New Bedford and stuff, a lot of them have two jobs, and they're not really involved too much in the politics, what's going on. And so it's not that they don't care, they're just so busy and stuff. And they're not educated that way either. But the thing is, like, some people could do it. But isn't the reason why we vote people in and to do these things for us? That's their job, and it's not being done. I know that, but
so but you can't. You have to be aware of who you're voting in and their politics, don't you? And pay attention to them. And if they aren't doing the things in your interest, you're supposed to notify them, and then call them to task when you reelect them or not reelect them, right?
Some of the people do that. The ones that are educated enough and they follow all the different things. A lot of people don't have the time to do that. They have two jobs. They come home to take care of the kids. They only hear what's on the radio. They don't hear all the different things about the different people that are running, for one thing. Because sometimes they're lying. I mean, they're lying, so it's so hard. It's very hard.
Well, listen, life's been hard since the beginning of man sitting up, stepping up on two feet and getting off four on his, off his hands and knees. And so, I mean, life's always been hard. And freedom requires constant vigilance. So you can have 2 or 3 jobs and still pay attention. If you're a dummy on a certain issue, then you educate yourself.
There's a lot of people that are here, especially foreign people.
Foreign?
I'm not talking about...
But, okay.
I'm talking about a lot of Portuguese people, different people. They're not educated in that way with the politics. I mean, they go to vote because whatever they hear, they go, this guy's good, he's going to help with the taxes. And they vote for him. They don't investigate really deep into that person because a lot of them, they wear masks. So it's very hard.
Right, that's true.
They don't have the time to do that. That should be for the people that we hire in government, whoever it is, the cities, the state, whatever.
That's true.
That should be their job. That's what they get paid for.
You can't rely on the people you hire. It's not what you expect. It's what you... but listen, it's not what you expect. It's what you inspect, okay? And
you're right about that. You can't depend on them.
Right.
Because,
But you got to educate yourself, too,
Yeah, but even if you do educate yourself when you vote, you do all this other stuff, the wrong people are still getting it most of the time. This has been going on for a while, with everything.
For decades.
It's always the taxpayers have to pay for everything. There's something going on over here. There's something wrong, and that's what I'm calling about. But anyway, and it's hard because you can't expect the people to, you can do something, you can do something. A lot of these people are having a hard time in their life. They don't have time to watch the news and TV and read newspapers most of the time and get all the information because there's so much information going on. It's confusing.
Well, listen. When it gets to the point and you find yourself out of work, broke because they broke the system, the innocent people pay.
Yes,
for the poor for the poor management or acts of the people who run the system. Okay?
That's what
usually,
I'm not calling for the people that are on.
So it behooves you to pay attention as best you can. Okay?
I'm not calling about the hustlers. There's hustlers out there.
Well, the hustlers will hustle you at your expense for their benefit, and they don't care.
No, they don't. And it goes right from the bottom, from welfare right down the line, or food stamps, whatever you call it. Not all of them, but people that are hustling, and right up to the government. They're hustling. They're making all this money, and they're ripping us off with taxes and this and that.
But
so it's not just the low-class people that are hustling. It goes right down. It's like a big hustle thing, and that's what's going to be stopped. Not,
I look at our system and every aspect. I mean, even a simple thing like the handicap signs for parking. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You ever see? I see so much abuse with that. It's like, to me, it almost, when I see those now, and they're mandated when you put up a building, you could have to have so many handicap spots, and very often I'd say, I can't even tell you 9 out of 10 times. I'll tell you like 98% of the time, 98, even higher than 9 out of 10 times. 98% of the times I see someone gets out and they're not handicapped. The only thing that's handicapped is that they eat too much, they're overweight, and they're not. There's no cane. They're not a vet. I see I see them get out and they get out, and there's so much abuse with that. So you look at one little teeny program run by managed by the government.
Yeah,
and it's so much abuse. Oh, so much abuse.
The same thing, and a lot of times
I'm only picking on one minor little toenail of an example. Okay.
It's all like that. It goes right down the line.
But that's one minor example of the abuses. When I see, like 99% of the time, I look and the person getting out of the car, either they got their mother's handicap sign or their father's or whomever, or maybe it's a fake one. I don't know. And they get out of that car, and they're in as good a shape as I am, or better. And I say to myself, well, okay, welcome to America. And
I walk to the store and I see that when they came, not all the people like that, but a lot of the handicapped, they have their signs. They shouldn't have had them. I don't know how they got them, but they'll come out walking out of the car with the cane. But I goes, they're not even using the cane to walk, because I know once in a great, and I don't walk too often. When my back goes off, I try to get something to help me. But anyway, but you can tell the people that need that. They're walking to the store and they're holding the cane.
The majority of people I see don't even have canes. Okay, the only thing I can see that they have, they could afford. They could afford to probably eat less. That's about it. And they're not obese. I'm not picking on people who are obese who have health issues, who can legitimately have those kind of, and then they would have a cane or electric car or what have you. It's just the abuses of just one little microcosm. Okay, so the whole system is kind of broken. We need it, and we're and they're gonna just. They can't just tax us to death because...
No, they have to do something about that because it's getting ridiculous. That Nican is another thing. That twice, that one day. Come on, give me a break. Put them someplace to get help. More than one day. They got to be there for a while until they kick the drug. But Nican. Now they got everybody's got Nican, even in the schools. So who's paying for that?
It's how sick our society is with this rampant drug problem.
They got to stop. Somebody's got to stop this. I don't understand.
Well, let's.
Why all these government people that we pay to run the country, nobody knows what's going on. What are they all blind?
And then when you want to change something, you can't change it because there's a law against changing that or this. So I got to let you go. Thank you for the call.
I enjoy calling you.
Thank you. I enjoyed talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Just as a little footnote here, educate and inform the whole masses of people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. Educate and inform the whole masses of the people. They are the only sure reliance for our preservation of liberty. Thomas Jefferson. I know of no safe depository of the ultimate powers of society, but the people themselves. And if we think them not enlightened enough to exercise their control with wholesomeness of discretion, and the remedy is not to take it from them, but to inform them that their discretion by education, this is true corrective of abuse of constitutional powers. Thomas Jefferson. It's a heavy statement. these guys were, they were very deep thinkers. They knew what oppression was and tyranny from the King of England. And, it's a different world. I mean, today we're a different world. It's, if a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. Thomas Jefferson. Okay, so these guys had it together before computers, cell phones, texting, and all the other interruptions of life. And believe me, back then they were worried about where their meal's going to come from. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson, I have most of his sayings. In other words, a free society, a tree of freedom is going to be watered now and then by the bloods of tyrants and patriots.
The tree of liberty, correct.
Right. Some of the things he said is happening now. We get politicians in there that,
Well, keep voting them in. You're going to keep getting the same thing.
Well, yeah, you do. You like Ed Markey. Have you ever seen him since he's been elected?
Ed Markey.
Ed Markey is, the senator.
Well, he's really a Maryland resident, but he declares his citizenship being here in mass because he inherited his father's house. But
it's just like one of us representatives. I forget who it is, a treasurer, something. She's got two homes for addresses, two major homes. They're just only supposed to have one.
Well,
goes to show you. And then you got a politician on the other day said driving license, driving Massachusetts is a privilege, but they give it to illegal immigrants.
Well,
yeah. Something. It goes to show you what a bunch of canalia we got. You know what that is?
Yeah, canalia.
In Congress and in the House of Representatives in the state of Massachusetts.
Well,
them should be in jail.
They know that people are pissed off, and if you want to see if you want to see a little microcosm to the future, if our currency continues in a downward streak, when people realize that we have very serious problems, essentially that we're rotting in this country. If that isn't apparent to anyone who's thinking by now, then there's no hope for you, I guess. But maybe there is, according to Thomas Jefferson. But the country is rotting, and we better get our act together soon. Canada is a classic case of when the currency goes down, the cost of living goes up, and those people there, especially those people in the private sector, especially those people who are on stipends from the government, so they're being fed to be complacent with handouts, social handouts, so they don't become rabble-rousers. So, no, it's a fact.
You see what the average people on welfare and debt get? It's $60,000, $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's what it averaged out to. And you were talking about automobiles. Do you remember the Auburn?
Yeah, absolutely. Auburn, that's Highline car.
I used to have, well, I didn't have them. My uncle had them. And the wheels were put on with one big bolt. Remember that?
Yeah.
The upcap was the screw.
On a spline, spline shaft, yep.
We used to use that to draw the
I'm not as old as you, though, so.
We used to use that we tied it was a round bumper. We used to tie that rope to load the hay into the barn.
Well, keep the light on, stay informed, and just, just call them out when they lie to us. They lie to us. They lie to us to our face and smile at us.
In fact, what they say, you can tell a politician is lying when his mouth is moving.
Well, listen, I'll be honest with you. There's some good guys. I know a few of them out there, and they're good guys. They're working hard. They're trying to do the right thing. I know some decent folks out there at the local level. There's some decent people who try to do it right. Some of them have to be educated a little more, but they get it. They get it, or eventually they get it. But there are some good people there. But it seems like the higher up you go, the more far removed they are from the realities of what you and I are going through, and their agenda. When you look at the representatives in Congress at the federal level, both in the House and in the Senate, some of them go in very humble. They all, overwhelming majority, come out very rich. Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? And they're getting paid. They get paid well, but they come out richer than guys who've been in business for 20, 30, 40 years. I'm amazed. I should have taken that track. I got to let you go. Thank you.
Okay, buddy. Take it easy. Bye.
Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Hey, Ralphie.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. Better than I deserve.
Massachusetts delegation is heading to New Hampshire to worship the moonbat Hillary.
Well, you know,
Deborah Goldberg, the lottery, Marty Lynch, all the Massachusetts
listen,
swine pigs.
We don't have to go that level, but any party protects itself, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the Communist Party, or the Nazi Party. It wants to stay in power and will do what it has to stay in power. So you just have to, just think of it that way.
Crack pipe capital of the world.
Lawrence is what?
Lawrence, Lowell, New Bedford, Fall River. We're the welfare crack pipe capital of Massachusetts.
Well, it's unfortunate, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
And
I mean, but I think,
that's cold reality.
We can say that, but what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do to create opportunities? Are we just going to tax people to transfer?
People in power want it that way. Keep it that way. Big business and poverty, the poverty pimps, and the people that are
poverty's
the suckers
big money.
Working.
Poverty's big money.
Yeah.
Well,
the people that are working, they're too busy, and
but they're reaching the point where they're going to tax. Joe hit the ragman. You add the S to a point where there's going to be problems because people are getting fed up.
Look at the problems. You got crackheads dying all over the streets.
But now
it's epidemic proportions.
I think I'm a little older. I think I'm a little older than you.
20 years.
I think I'm a little older than you, so I can look back a little bit with a little more historic view, unfortunately. But
I don't go back to the hippie days.
Well, yeah, I remember the war, the guns and butters with Johnson's War on Poverty. Now, some of the programs, I guess you could say, did some good. But, poverty's actually increased substantially since the 60s. Yeah. So here we have the government spending hundreds of billions, if not trillions, over the course of that time, trillions of dollars. And our poverty has increased.
Oh, yeah.
So you say to yourself, wait a minute. So do you have to be a Harvard or a Yale or an MIT graduate to say, let me look at these numbers. Why is this? Let's analyze this. But for some reason, things just don't seem to improve or change in the proper direction.
We need to increase it and expand on our social services.
Things will be self-correcting. There's a point where things cannot continue, where there's absolute civil insurrection, where they refuse to pay it. Throughout history, there's countless examples of people saying, they're just not going to do it, or there's a revolution. There's change. I mean, I often look at Lech Wałęsa from Poland, what he did there before the war.
The metal union, what was he?
Solidarity.
Yeah.
And they put pressure on him, the system. No different than our system does on us. So, in the communists, when he was working with the commies, he was under the communist control, the boot. Soviet Union ran, of course, Poland, but the Polish government, of course, was communist, as was all the Eastern Bloc. And he revolted with his union, Solidarity, and they made changes.
You know what Mommy said in the 50s?
What'd you say?
Kill a commie for Mommy?
Oh, kill a commie for Mommy. Well,
remember that slogan?
Yeah, I remember. Khrushchev is a jerk. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Khrushchev is a jerk.
I'm just amazed at where Massachusetts is the star pupil of feeding our welfare into wheelchairs, into motorized scooters, and it's a shame. You see them in the stores, and now because you fed them so fat in welfare into a scooter, now they have to have a home health aide, and they come to their house.
Listen, there are some people who definitely need home health aides.
I agree.
And need support. And, I'm not going to argue that. There are.
I'm not either.
We can't go back to a time like Charles Dickens where people...
You got junkies being on Social Security.
Well, that's a given,
They have traveling nurses that come to their houses and say to them, oh, you're late. I've got things to do. I got to go to the bar room, and I got to do this and that. What a shame. What a society we've created.
Well, yeah, we've created the society we deserve, right? We deserve it. I mean, you reap what you sow. So, if people are too busy to be involved, then here we are. So, where do we go from here? That's why people are leaving. People who are highly informed and people with some significant resources are making changes in their life to, protect themselves. Let's put it that way. I got to let you go. Thank you for the call.
All right, Ralph.
Bye-bye. Very good afternoon to caller.
Ralph, I was on the WBSM website to listen to the program here, and it says, New Bedford police looking to ID suspect. Police are asking for the help in identifying a suspect who made an unlawful bank transaction. Back in the day, they used to call it robbing a bank. Now, is it so? Are we so politically correct? We have to call it an unlawful bank transaction.
Well,
we can't call it robbing the bank.
Well, maybe he did it with a forged instrument, and he didn't use a gun or a knife. Maybe they're trying to allude to it that way. In other words, he did kind of like he did kind of like what the Wall Street banks have done. They do it they do it without a gun and a knife or a brick, but they do it with their pen and paper. Maybe he did it that way. I don't know. I'm only trying to read between the lines. So,
getting on to that subject, have you seen that movie, The Big Short?
Yes, that was a marvelous movie. Yeah, that's worth seeing.
Yeah, everybody should see it. And that will go down as like a historical record of what actually happened.
Yep.
And 20 years from now, and when people are watching that on AMC or whatever, that is actually what happened. And there was a funny little line in there. He says, "What happened was all these brokers went to jail and all this kind of stuff." And he says, "No, wait a minute. Nobody went to jail.
Nobody went to jail.
Just this one guy who was an outcast that they threw him to the wolves. He was the only one who went to jail."
It's amazing, isn't it? The only country that really prosecuted their bankers was Iceland. That was it. Or was it Greenland? Little Island. I get them mixed up all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's the opposite. The one that's pleasant to live in is called Iceland. They swap them around to trick people.
Well, Iceland is the one with the volcanic ash. It's an island basically, and there's still some. They got hot baths and springs there still, even though it's a very cold place, and not far off the Norwegian coast. And that's where their bankers. They put most bankers away, and they stiffed the British banks. Didn't pay them for all the loans. There was a major, and they're rebuilding their economy now. But I know you're into economics. Check out some sites on Canada. I could forward you some information on it, and it's provocative when you see what's happening because they're very much like we are. They're a tenth our size. I mean, we're 300. I don't know. I guess if you count the illegals, maybe 350 million in this country. I think they're 35 million there, and but their currency has gone down significantly against the dollar and other currencies, and the people there, their costs of living has skyrocketed. And you hear these like our Federal Reserve, all the high priests of finance, and they want. What do they tell you? Oh, we're looking for 2% inflation. You hear that often, right? Oh, we don't have enough inflation. We're going to do Q1, Q2, Q3. We're going to print more money, spend more money. We need inflation because if you believe in Keynesian economics, you have to have inflation, right? I don't know if you're old enough to remember. Do you remember when Nixon was president? We had wage and price controls.
Sure. Yep.
And back then, the average working guy, who was not college educated, by the way, the overwhelming majority, maybe were high school graduates, but they were far from being dumb people, though. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But back then, if you told the American people, well, gee, inflation is going to be 1 or 2%, people got upset. Say, wait a minute. Inflation? You mean my prices are going to go up? I have to make more money or get more money from my employer? This isn't a good thing. Inflation was not a good thing. Now people today are so bloody stupid. They can't figure it out. So back then, they put wage and price controls when inflation was hovering around 4%. 4%. They put them in effect because he took us off the Bretton Woods, the dollar fixed the gold at $35 an ounce, yada, yada, all the other. Because guns and butter, you couldn't do both and still guarantee gold at 35 because they were printing money like the end of the world. And here we are now, and they still are trying to sell us on this inflation. And it makes you poorer. The middle class suffer. Of course, you don't hear Hillary or Bernie or Markey, Senator Markey, or Warren, or even the Republicans for that matter, except for a few, come out and explain this to you. That inflation is not a good thing. So, I mean, it's such a charade.
I heard something interesting the other day, and that not a lot of people know about. And I've heard that the Social Security system has something built into their rules. Now, everybody is upset now that's collecting Social Security that their rate is not going up. They're not getting that bump every year for inflation. Right. I heard there's something in the rules where when the government proves we're in deflation, that they can actually subtract from that check. So they will say, all right, you get $900 a month now. You're not getting 5% or whatever because there's no cost of living increase. When the government actually proves there's deflation, they'll say, well, you don't need that $900 because now we're in deflation.
Correct. Yeah.
You can buy more with less. So we're gonna knock that down. You're gonna get $875 or $850 a month.
You're not going to beat us at the table.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know everything costs more. And this deflation, they say we're in a deflation or a deflation. Go to the supermarket and buy groceries. And I remember when peaches or something were 79 cents a pound. Now they're like 79 cents a piece.
Well, we're in a stagflation through the 70s. Remember stagflation?
Yep.
We had an economy that stagnated, and some prices went down, but we had inflation as well. It was stagflation. It's a term you don't hear today, but that's what we had. And I think now is I think you have to be extremely cautious. We're in very, very uncharted waters, and when it's kind of like being on the Titanic. A lot of people didn't think the ship was going to sink until they found out that there was no life raft for them. Then they panicked.
Hey, I just want to put a point out for something I noticed around Thanksgiving time, and I was on Belleville Avenue, and I was driving by Joseph Abood there.
Yep.
They gave out turkeys to their workers at Thanksgiving time. They had a whole benches set up there, and everybody had a voucher or something. They're giving out turkeys, and I said, what a family-oriented place that is. And I worked in the 80s. I worked for a company down in Cape Cod, and they gave everybody a turkey for Thanksgiving. You had a voucher. You went to this little store, and it was worth like $25. But in the 80s, $25 would have been like $50 or $75 today. And we used to always joke, they're giving us the bird. But after that, I never worked for another company that gave me it. And when I saw Abood there was giving out turkeys at Thanksgiving, I said, that is good. That is like an old-fashioned type thing. I mean, not everybody can afford to do it, but if they could, and that's a really nice thing to do.
Yeah. Well, when companies can afford to do it, that is good. There are some good companies out there to work for, and they're demonized sometimes. But I thank you for the call.
Yeah. Hey, can I say one last thing?
Go ahead.
There's anybody who's into auto racing. The auto racing is televised at 2:00, right when we get off the air with you here.
What channel?
Fox Sports 1, the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona.
Oh, okay, that's right. I used to go to the race just before that. Oh, wait a minute, the one in February. I used to go to the GTU 500, I think they called it. Yeah.
They're going to have the new Ford GT. They're going to have the new Ford GT. They're going to be racing in that race.
I used to go to the one in the foreign race. Yeah. I used to go to Daytona in February. They have the races down there. It was quite a time.
Nice. When the weather's stinky here, be down there.
Well, when I went there one year, I froze my butt off one year. It was cool.
It was all like 50 degrees. My mother used to live in Florida. She said, it's 60 degrees. And everybody's got a jacket on. I said, come back up here where it's 20 degrees,
Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Just a reminder, folks, this coming Thursday, I believe, in February, is going to be the book signing at the 4th at the UMass Dartmouth on Thomas Honegger, Surviving Apartheid. And I'm flipping through the book here now. It's a marvelous written book here, and has a lot of information in here. So it'll be fun to read. But if you have the time, you should get by. At 2:00 it starts, and he's going to have his lecture and book signing at 3. After his lecture at 3. Thomas will be there. And I got the book here. I'm going to have him sign my book. But if you have some time, you should get up to this event at UMass Dartmouth. It ties in all with the Black history for January and February. Obviously will be in February on Monday. But it looks to be a good event and something educational and meet some really nice people. So if you have time, try to get by UMass Dartmouth at 2 o'clock in the library. And you'll probably enjoy yourself. And we're almost out of time here. You can give us a call. I took on a new line. I didn't have time to get into it today, but we took on the WeGo. WeGo, what's a WeGo? It's portable power. And basically, it's the size of a paperback. Actually, it's smaller than the book I have here, Surviving Apartheid. It's smaller than that, and they sell for just under $100, and it can start your car. You can leave it in your glove box. Every woman who goes out and drives, especially gals who do like home health care, nighttime, you have to be out, it's something you should consider. We'll get into this more. I just had a shipment come in this week. Stop by the dealership at Ralph's Auto Center in Norton. Thank you for listening, my rant and raves. Pay attention. It's later than what most of us think, but get involved. Thank you. Catch you next week. God bless.